On the table, you can see some stuff you typically find in an 18th century office. You have your bone cups, as well as your pipes. The pipes are pretty interesting because as you would smoke, tobacco would collect in the pipe itself. So when it got down to a part where you couldn't smoke it anymore, you just break it off. You break off what was full. But eventually, it got down to a point where you could only use it for so much longer, and so when you were done with it, you would chuck it in the fire. And these are actually original clay pipes that were found in the fireplace.
Wow.
So yeah, we like to point out and say that that one's William Blount's and that one's John Severe's. We really don't know.
No initials.
No initials, yeah.
That's really neat.
Another thing that I think is interesting to point out, not a lot of people realize, is the stamp, the wax stamp. Neat little thing I like to talk about is wax stamps actually had a pretty important meaning. Red was for government or like official court documents or something. As you can see, William Blount would have definitely used a red stamp on his literature, his writings. There was also blue and green, which were for general correspondence, just sending a letter to a friend. And then there was black. Now, black was bad news. Black meant you probably had a death in the family or something. There's a lot of instances from the 18th century of people receiving black waxed letters and going, oh my gosh, and then they would cut the letter open and they'd read it, and the first line would say something like, oh, I'm sorry for using my black stamp or my black wax. That's all I had. I ran out of the other colors.
Wow.
The flag here is actually representative of the flag that would have been in the office at the time of Tennessee's becoming a state. It has 15 stripes and 15 stars. But they realized after the state of Tennessee that they couldn't just keep adding a star and a stripe every time, or else the flag would be enormous. So that's when they went back to the original 13 bars and just kept adding a star for every state. See on the table his little cellaret, or his medicine cabinet, which would have largely been the same thing. You'd have your whiskeys and liquors and the big bottles, and your medicines, which would have probably been the same thing in the smaller bottles on the bottom, and you put your cups on top. As well as your letter box. This letter box is pretty interesting. This was for holding very important documents. Made out of wood, covered in leather. And what's neat is on the inside it was actually lined with newspaper. And from the newspaper we can tell this box probably comes from about 1830.